Thank you so much. It's very hard to be true in terms of crisis, you know, and this is a real challenge for all of us. And thank you for your presentation. So I think that we have 4 presentation and all 4 are done. Jon, what would you say about, maybe do you have some questions to our participants? Because I have through our chat. So maybe let's start to discuss.
Yes, do we have any questions from the attendees?
We have some private questions. The first to Paul Asker Torfason. Okay. So, Paul, could you read these questions then, and to maybe to answer them?
Yeah. What were your recommendations for teachers through this offline-online transformation? I mean, manual instructions, steps from offline to online. In sense of moving offline to online, we quickly learned that this was about the pedagogic, like the teaching, not only about the technology. Teachers would often in the beginning just move the offline format to online and just give access to materials rather than just doing some engagement and getting the students active. So we made multiple best practices on how to teach online and use teaching and using various tools and so on. And we had a focus on making lots of these best practices to fit different needs, and just to avoid digital isolation among students. And we also asked teachers to do short videos on how they were changing their approach in teaching during COVID. And basically we did everything we could because like you've said, this is a new situation, so we rather want to do more than less. So we just tried different approaches and saw what worked and what didn't. So, and the second question: how do you organize pilot groups? Do teachers learn from your platform some videos, materials, and discuss it then? The pilot group was organized using criteria which we picked to represent the university. So we wanted teachers with various experiences concerning online learning from various locations in various departments and so on. And that group got special training and access to materials, videos, workshops, and so on. And we had like estimate of 2 pilots teachers in each department of the school, so that they could work together and create like a learning environment there. And then the pilot participants would also meet a few times during the years with all other pilot participants in their school and discuss how things are going and get support and so on. And the last question is a huge one. How do you manage to make a strong community of students and teachers online? I would be rich if I had the single answer for it, but there's no single answer. But there are also many communities online when it comes to online education. You have the community in each class, and then you have a whole community of the school, and we mostly needed to communicate to the whole school. And I was quite lucky because my team is always trying new things in order to succeed, and they're quick on the feet to adapt and so on. So we tried many different things, and we just met with the Students' Union many times and discussed what we could do, and they helped a lot. And we created courses in Canvas for each school where the teachers could share ideas and talk to each other and create like a community there. Some schools even did it for their students and made the students in charge of that course, and the students would talk to each other and give some guidance on how to learn online and so on. And we just did as before, did as many things as we could, post articles on the status of the implementation, added best practices and so on. We used the ambassador system, which I mentioned before. And those ambassadors held sessions with other teachers, and they discussed teaching and just created an environment for people to talk to each other, basically.
Okay, thank you so much. Paul, we have another question for you. How are you handling this new reality of remote learning or e-learning in your recruitment and marketing strategy? And how do you convince potential new students that your establishment comes through with a good offer of remote classes versus over other establishments?
I might get Jónar to answer this with me, but in a way we're forming a new strategy for online learning, and that a part of that is marketing and advertisement, but Jónar and the PR division, marketing division, has been working towards those goals. So Jónar might be able to answer that question.
Yes, what we have been doing is that we have adapted our outreach to our prospects by using online methodology only, and this has been quite new experience for us, but we did last spring, we had an open day where we were introducing all our courses, or I mean all our study programs, and we did it just online, and we made it just look like a TV production, and we did that with great success. So that's the start of how we are emphasizing on these online offerings. After the COVID crisis and the first wave that we had last winter and into the springtime, we did get into an era where we didn't have any COVID at all in Iceland for quite a while. And then people came back to school. So we mixed it together in like online or like e-learning with the physical ways of having the courses just like in the universities as we do normally. And we did some surveys, or we not formal, but we did some surveys on the experience of the students, that they were really happy to be back to school into the normal environment. So that we will see what comes out of all of this is probably that we will have more mixed environment. But at the end of the day, universities are communities, and we need this like kind of close cooperation and conversation to solve things and to get new ideas. So there are a lot of great things coming out of this e-learning, and we have all seen that. But as I said, universities are first and foremost, they are communities, and the e-learning is not like solving this topic completely, at least not for now. But there are a lot of options. What do you say about that, Palli?
Yeah, that's pretty good. I just want to say that we had a survey with all the students, and there are many things that we learned from it. Just to add to the other answers, like we're stepping a bit away from the learning which was before, just recording whole lectures for 2 hours, and then the teacher would stand up and take his coffee break and continue with the recording, and we just, these things are happening quite fast, so we're changing how we introduce things like students want videos instead of live lectures and so on. So there's a lot of things happening, and we're just trying to get as much as we can, like data and so on, so we can build the digital learning strategy, which is planned for next year.
The thing with this is that we had the strategy and we implemented the solution, and it was no luck because it was part of the plans, but then we had this like huge crisis, and we kind of wrapped things around. We just managed to implement new ways of operating a whole university over one weekend. So that is unbelievable. But many other universities did the same throughout the world, and it shows that when we are forced or when it's needed, we are really flexible. and we are willing to change. That's how humans are. Even though they stand against changes generally, when you have to do it, we are very adaptable.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for your comments. And we have another question. How can we explore authentic styles that can be adjusted into the context of higher education institution on regional or national level?
For us then, or?
Yeah, it's also for you.
How can we explore the authentic style that can be
adjusted into the context of higher education institution on regional or national level?
Yeah, I'm just trying to understand a bit the question. It might be...
That's a complex one. I would have to take it into Google Translate.
If you can explain a bit more, that would be great, I think.
Okay. Akil Al-Hamidi. Akil, dear, could you please explain via our chat what do you exactly think and what do you exactly want to know? And still, I just pass to another question while Akil is typing. So another question is to Daniela and Alessandra. So how can we move to the virtual world those events which had a more practical approach, such as workshops that had a moment with work groups that discussed and then presented conclusion? Are there any strategies? Alessandra, maybe?
Okay. Here in Sapienza, as communication office, we didn't have any big experience about moving to the virtual world, such kind of events. But we took part in several academic senate meetings and board of directors meetings. And I think the format of the digital works in these two committees is the right one for workshops that need a more practical approach, where there is decisions to take and conclusions to write. Because how it works with academic senate, by us, a small group of persons meet in presence. So the rector, the general director, the deputy rector, and some technical staff. So they meet in a room where there are all the digital media for an easy connection. And all the others are at home, stay at home. But the presence of a group of people who stay together and can so discuss items, and it's very useful because they have really the role to take conclusions, to take decisions, and so our rector decided that he could not completely digitalize such kind of meetings, because it would be too long to take decisions if everybody was home. And I think it works. Next week we will have a little meeting, because we have to launch a new section of our website dedicated to sustainability. And we have to show how we organized this website pages. And we are organizing the meeting in the same way. So a few persons, maybe four of us, will stay here at the university, and we'll meet with other people that stay home. And the group that meets here at the university will be the leading group. We will be the chair of the meeting. So, and I think it could work. I don't know what is the experience of other universities about that kind of blended events, blended workshops.
Okay, thank you. And another question for you. Did you change the strategies of promotion for your days open doors in comparison to other years? Strategies of promotions.
Daniela, do you want to answer, or
it's the same as you prefer. Go ahead. You're already there.
Okay. So of course our dissemination strategy about the open days was digital, almost digital. In the past years we made some advertising in paper newspapers too, because families still read a bit paper newspapers. But this year we didn't buy any advertising space on paper newspapers, and we just moved digital. Of course, very important were our social media. There was a countdown about the online event on the social media, and I think it was perhaps the most useful kind of promotion. And radios too. We made advertising through radio, because when people stay home, radios can reach people very easily. Maybe people have more time to listen to the radio when they are home and they are not working, or they are working in smart working forms. So.
Okay. Thank you so much. And we have another question. How are you organizing open lectures online, and do you feel the content should remain open for public viewing afterwards, after you organize your open lectures?
Okay, we didn't dig into this topic because it appeared to be more relevant, a more relevant topic for the UNICA Unilab group. However, we essentially made available to our professors different tools, in particular Google Meet, Zoom, and Google Classroom, and let them free to choose one of them to use, or to use a combination of them. So now at the moment we are offering lectures in a sort of blended format. So both in presence and online. So students who wish to attend in presence have to book a seat in advice, and the others follow the lectures online. I feel like it could be useful to maintain the lecture in a sort of electronic archive where students can access and also follow the lessons later when they have time to do that. But I don't think that every professor do that at the moment.
Oh, thank you so much. And I've got maybe the last question to Akos.
Just one thing about online lessons. I don't know how it works by you. We have in Sapienza and in Italy in general a big increase of new students. Here in Sapienza at the moment we have 40% more new students than last year. And we know that in Italy, the average percentage is about 10% more students this year. Our education minister in April, May, he was very worried about new students, and he said we will have 20% less students because COVID. Of course, affected families. People are poorer than before and cannot send daughters and sons, children to the university. And it was a big surprise to see that the minister was not right. Of course, the government decided some helps for families, like the no taxation area for people, for students coming to the universities is now higher. as income, the income level. But we think that very important was this opportunity for students to follow the lessons online. Many students in Rome are students coming from other Italian regions, southern regions, and of course for families it is a big opportunity. They don't need to find a room for children to stay in the capital. So for the first year, practically they don't have this kind of costs. They just have to pay for university, but maybe they pay less because of these measures decided by the government, and they don't have costs of living in the big town. So this was a very important lesson for us, something that we learned and that we must keep for the time when the emergency is over. That a blended format where students can stay home or be in the classroom is a format that is greatly appreciated by families and by students too.
Okay, thank you for your addition. And echoes the question for you. What would you say about spreading false news from stressed students and teachers? How can you manage during the crisis communication with false news?
Wow, that is a big topic, which was supposed to be, I think, a different session when it was a 2-day event. So it's difficult to summarize it in 1 minute. But of course, we are living in the era of not only fake news, but social media, where everything is happening all the time, and there are different points of view. So I think, of course, we can deny if needed, or just let it pass if it's a small thing, because there are so many news outlets and so many commentaries. So happy to say we did not have big problems with it, because I think in Hungary in the spring it was really everyone was working together, so there's not a lot of talking out of terms happening here.
Okay, so I hope that we can make another workshop of how to make new after crisis media communication clear from false. Thank you so much. Okay, dear colleagues, whether we don't have any other questions, and I see in our chat that we don't, I want to thank everybody for a very productive work, and I leave the floor to Jon.
Yes,
thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Olga, Mamaeva, and to all of you that had input in questions, and to all of you speakers. This was really informative and excellent. We will now have what we call a comfort break, and that will last for approximately 15 minutes. Yes, 15 minutes. And after that, we will have session 2, university branding and advertising, to support the recruitment of international students in the COVID-19 era. And the chair of that session will be David Smith, head of marketing at the University of East London. And before that, we will go through those that will have lectures in that session. At the end, we will have questions and answers similar to that we had now earlier on. And thank you again, Olga, and see you all very soon in 15 minutes. Hasta luego.
Okay. See you.